Hello, Cowboy Jim here. Monday night, spent the day. I watched a couple of movies. It was quite good, actually. And I I tuned into Tucker Carlson, Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, and to me, being just I was going to say a down the note rancher, but that's not really true. But being somewhat of a retired rancher and entertaining myself with the news and watching what I am beginning to believe is the rejection of Joe Biden and his family's corruption of the law. And I I am shocked at what I'm seeing, and I actually am seeing CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, Washington Post, somewhat teaming up against Joe Biden and his family. And the query that hit me today was: is this the perfect storm for the Biden family? And how long will it take for, I believe it's the CIA, to join the rest of the news media? You'll recall the news media covered up by calling initially they weren't Hunter Biden's laptops. Secondarily, when that didn't float, they were putting forth the idea that it was Russian misinformation. And one of the things that is critical and in some ways understandable is that people look at what is going around about them. I don't mean, okay, let me say, people begin to look at what is happening and they begin to count the cost. Is the cost too great for the political agenda of the Democratic Party? And the answer, in terms of Joe Biden, yes, it is becoming too great. And I saw Nancy Pelosi kissing Joe Biden on the cheek. And I thought, the next day, Nancy Pelosi came down with a positive for COVID. And I thought, Joe Biden is at least 78. He looks, I mean, hey, I'm 73 or 72, thank God, yes. Not until October. I'll be 73. And I realize there's a basic problem in the States, and that is, what do you do with a president who looks so badly on the world scene? You have Boris Johnson, bad hair and all, walking around with Zelensky in Kiev, in a land that is at war, not by their choice, but at war with the third greatest power in the world. First one is China. Second one is Russia. Third one could be the seventh one, is the United States of America. And you must needs understand that does not bring me joy. It does not. Because we Canadians tend to follow the United States of America, whether it's in styles or political perspective. The refute of government by the people. So Joe Biden is on his way out because of the very things that he's done to placate the new Green Deal and its acceptation by the Democratic Party, who will never get reelected. And if the election, I think it's referred to as midterms election, happening this November, were it to happen with Joe at the helm and Kamala Harris backup, the Democrats are in terrible trouble. And they know they're in terrible trouble. They don't want to recognize it, but they really are. And they're becoming more fragmented as the result of their, plural, with an S on it, results of their managing the economy in the United States of America, because they haven't managed it at all. If you have the capability of looking at a situation from an unbiased standpoint, well, you're kind of blessed. But if you don't, then you're kind of, shall we say, impeded. If you can only look through the eyes of conservatism, well, that was a mouthful, or liberal democratic perspective. If you're limited by your own inability to see a larger picture, without that larger picture being tainted by your political perspective, you're in trouble. Not as much trouble as the United States of America. It's kind of like no matter the tune that Joe Biden plays, people are beginning to not like it. And they're beginning to say, well, the Hunter Biden laptops, they are undeniable. They are actually undeniable because of how they surfaced. Hunter Biden took 3, I was told, laptops into a repair shop to have repaired, of course. And the chap repairing them made the information available because it was so critical and so important. And he made it available prior to the last election. The last election was not fair. But people looked at the alternative and they said, as that scientist told me, Jim, he said, you don't understand. I will, as a scientist and an atheist, not an agnostic, which is fundamentally it's the same thing as an atheist. But he said, I will choose to believe anything except God. Hey, in the States, people are coming to the place where, if they're honest, they will say that they chose anything other than Donald Trump. And that's truly unfortunate because, in spite of the PR BS, the actions of the Democratic Party in terms of canceling, killing everything that Donald Trump had started and laid out to do. And there is no doubt that if he had had another 4 years, he would have thrown a pipeline down over to Europe. And I'm telling you, the guy thinks huge, big, huge. And none of this stuff that is going on in Europe now would be going on if Donald Trump were in power. I don't like politicians, but I truly respect Donald Trump because he's not a politician. He's a businessman. Ran his business in order to make money. Ran his country in order to make money. Not for his own gratification, but for the sake of the country. And so the perfect storm that Biden has presented, responded to, is exemplified in this. Boris Johnson walking around in Kiev with Zelensky, compared to Biden and all the potential yet to be totally, I'd like to use the word enumerated, but I don't think it applies. But the corruption that a political leader in his demise, I hope he finds peace with God. If he has to put up with Nancy Pelosi kissing him on the cheek very many more times, Fauci's little vaccine won't do that man much good. So the next one in power is Kamala Harris. lined up to be in power, not qualified in any sense of the word, not even remotely close, not even close, totally inexperienced, never had to give a straight answer without making it into a joke, because she never had to learn, and evidently may not have learned. There's a consideration, a word that is very, very critical. A statesman, or you could say a stateswoman, but a statesman for me is someone who governs for the benefit of the country, not their own personal gratification, their own self-grandizement. And so everything that I have watched Joe Biden do has been reactionary. He reacts to the situation he's in because he hasn't planned anything beyond just trying to survive the day. Listen, I know about that. I know about surviving the day. It's not a good way to be. It's not a good way to be. So, the options. Let's not waste any time talking about the things that Joe has done, because we don't know yet. But I bet we'll find out if he lives through it. We'll probably find out. It's not good, children. The American people are not stupid. They know that fossil fuel is critical, or they wouldn't be paying upwards of $6 or $7 a gallon for it, when it could still be down around $2 a gallon under Trump's tutelage direction. All they have to do is break with the environmentalists, who incidentally are being trained now, indoctrinated into the idea of letting the air out of every SUV in the United States of America. That's their response to people who have earned the money to buy what it is they choose to buy. And everything Joe has tried to do has failed terribly. So if there is going to be an election in November, there is supposed to be, will the U.S., under Biden's leadership, the Democratic Party, will they declare war on Soviet Russia in order to avoid an election? I don't know how that would work. I don't know, if a country is at war, do they still have the fulfillment of an election? I don't know. I wish they did. I don't. Anyways, I have a certain degree of foreboding about this. And I hope I'm wrong. I do. God bless you. God bless.